Well, hey everybody, welcome to the second week in our multi-part video devotional series here on the life of Joseph. This week we're going to see how Joseph goes from being with his family, which we saw last week, to being in Egypt, which is probably, what Joseph is often best known for is his time in Egypt and his role there with the people of Israel in Egypt. And so the events that we're going to look at today are going to explain to us how he gets from one place to another. And it's a set of events that, in the moment probably would have been hard to understand how this could have possibly led to anything good for Joseph. And so what we see happening here in Genesis 37, which is where we're picking it up. We started there last week. We're going to finish that off this week in this little video. We see Jacob sending Joseph, his favorite son, the one that he made this coat of many colors for, to go and find his brothers, the rest of his brothers who are off with their father's sheep in some other place. And Jacob tells Joseph, go bring them this food and bring a report back to me. Let me know how everything is going. And so Joseph sets off to go and do this. Now, as he approaches his brothers, it takes him a while to find them, but as he approaches his brothers, they see him off in the distance. They see his fancy coat of many colors off in the distance, and they say to each other, hey, look, here comes that dreamer. Remember in our first video, we talked about how Joseph had these dreams that basically showed his brothers and his mom and dad bowing down to him, and it was a sore spot with the brothers, and you can see that here because they see him coming. They say, here comes that dreamer. I got an idea. And they sort of start scheming as he's coming up. Let's get rid of him. Let's just kill him. He's got these grandiose dreams and these visions of us bowing down to him. That's never going to happen. Let's just kill him. Let's see what becomes of his dreams at that point. One of them, Reuben, sort of pipes up and says, guys, let's not kill him. There's these empty pits here. Let's just throw him in there. And if he dies, he dies, but then we're not killing him. And he manages to persuade them. Now, Reuben was intending to pull him up later and bring him back home and save him. He doesn't get a chance to do that, but you see a little bit of compassion coming through. As the brothers sit down to eat, there's a group of slave traders that goes by, and another one of the brothers, Judah, looks and says, hey, I got an idea. Rather than killing him and having his blood in our hands, let's sell him. We can make a little bit of money. We're rid of him. We don't kill him. Win-win-win for everyone but Joseph. Everybody agrees. They pull him up out of the pit, send him off to Egypt with these slave traders. And eventually, when Joseph gets to Egypt, he is bought by a man named Potiphar, and Potiphar and his household are going to be fairly critical in the story of Joseph, and we're going to cover that in a future video. But what I want to talk about as far as a take-home point from this devotional today is just this idea of having faith in the waiting period. Now we can see the whole story of Joseph in a quick 10-minute read through a few chapters in Genesis. We can see from where he's born to where, he rises to prominence in Egypt, which he's going to eventually. We can read that all in a few short minutes, and we can see the whole picture. And sometimes we forget that when you're in the moment, all you see is what's right in front of you, right? You don't see how this is going to turn out. We can look at Joseph's story and see that doesn't look like a situation that'll turn out good, and that doesn't look like a situation that'll turn out good. But then we step back, we see the whole situation, and we can see, hey, God is at work here, and we can recognize that. And it's very hard to do that in the moment. And what I want to encourage you with, what I want you to take home from this little devotional on the life of Joseph is that when we're in those moments, when all we can see is what's right in front of us, and it's a challenging situation, it's not something good, it's not something enjoyable, it can be very easy for us to wonder, man, what is God up to? How can this possibly be something that will be for my good and for his glory? And we just wrestle with that. And yet, looking at the story of Joseph, we're reminded again and again that God can take a situation that just seems completely helpless and hopeless and even pointless and can use it for amazing, amazing things. And so I hope that can be an encouragement to you today. I hope you've enjoyed these first couple videos on the life of Joseph, and stick with us as we work through the rest of his life here over the next few videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.